Okay, hey John, this is Dan Posnick, and this is going to be that review that you emailed me to do with the 3 or 4 questions. But generally, how I look at it is that review of a certain portion of Massive U that looks like it's a branded portion of some sort for a client. So I'm going to go ahead and log in. Um, in terms of the login here, it seems pretty easy, self-explanatory. Um, my experience is I would rather see the social media icons underneath the login, not first. But that's just me, unless you're doing like a Facebook login, which it looks. Let's see by clicking the button above. You agree? Yeah, I mean, I'd rather see that down at the bottom by my experience. But other than that, I like it. So we're gonna log in. Okay, so I'm presented with looks like some sort of a dashboard. Um, and my first reaction to it is it's clean. I see a lot of white space. Not being familiar with the platform at all, it's kind of, I still would need to learn where to go. I'm not really a fan of these branded things being up here, one over here on the left, one over here on the right. It's my like or dislike, I don't know. I would say my like um, would be to have this down at the bottom here. I really like this. Obviously, it's Massive U and it's grayed out. I understand the important part of having this up top, but having one on the left, one on the right, it's not only visually confusing, but I just don't really necessarily know that it needs to be there unless there's something that I don't know, which of course that could be the case. I'm a little bit confused. I don't know what EdQuest is, but that could be because I'm not familiar with the brand. Um, Over here, obviously some sort of social feed. I'm not really sure what that's about. Obviously it has to do with learning and things like that. So let's see which data to look at. Let's see what happens when we click there. Okay, so what is one thing you would like to learn about? So it gives me, that's kind of cool. It's clean. I mean, my overall feeling is this is very clean. Really like how this ends over here. It's kind of strange. It's a little small too for me. Um, it's a little confusing how to get around. I'm not quite sure what my thoughts are yet on how we would fix that. But it's a little bit difficult to find my way around. And like, for example, I'm in here, and how do I get rid of this? It's not really that obvious, but it's over here I see that, so we'll go back to the community home. Okay, so that's not where I wanted to go. Um, okay, so I'm in some sort of the community area, which was one of the ones that you had asked me about. And you're asking me social collaborative learning after interacting with the Connect and community areas. Do you have any ideas for improvement? One, I would say that these are not that easy to get around in terms of knowing what you're looking at here. So, for example, you saw how I got here. I clicked on a question and then I was confused and I somehow ended up in this area. Um, so, name one need of 21st learning in your classroom that can be addressed through technology. So, it's got 5 responses. That's easy enough to understand. I understand what the like is for. I understand that this is just showing me a detailed view of what's going on. There's a total of 9 discussions, so we're going to go back. Okay, so I get it. Okay, so I get that in terms of you're asking a question. Um, when you go back here, it's just confusing. I mean, just overall, I just find this really, really confusing. I still don't know how to get back to that original screen that I was on, but we'll figure that out. Okay, so we're going to click here again because I want to see. Okay, so that's, go in there, you can ask a, and you can give an answer, sorry. It's actually an answer. So I can review what other people have said. I understand all that. You can filter over here with most likes, most recent or most likes. Easy enough. Um, Okay, so we'll go back home again to community. Sorry that I kind of went backwards. You had asked me to do community and connect, I think, later. So we'll see what the 9 total discussions are. I get that. So it's broken out into 9 discussions. You know, you got different styles going on here. I really liked your homepage, the website. So I would have liked to have seen a little bit more of that happening. Let's see. So, I like the feeling of this, and I'd like to see, yeah, the style that you have going on here, obviously there's a difference between, um, the UI portion for when you're actually interacting with the product versus the website, but I just like the feeling of this, even this button. So when you get inside here, to me, you just have a totally different style. And I saw this button treatment, and I saw another button treatment earlier. And again, I just find this area confusing in terms of where to go. So now we're going to see, I get that that's a branded thing. I have no idea what that is right now. I get that that's some sort of chat feature. I'm not sure what that is by the iconography. Something to do with writing or editing. And then this is obviously, okay, so this is to manage my profile. That's easy enough. I'm not a fan of, I see why this is done. This is probably like the maximum width of, that's popular right now in terms of browser width. But I'm not a fan of having, the lines just end. I like the simplicity of it. It's maybe a little bit too simple. That's my general feedback there. I see that this button's consistent. Do I think that this is friendly and fun so far? I would say no. It doesn't have that feeling to me. It has that simple, clean feeling, which there's not necessarily anything wrong with that. But your question asked me, do I think it's fun and friendly? I would say that no, this isn't. And my idea for improvement would be, probably fonts. Not that this font is bad, but color treatments, some other graphic elements. Not too much though, because I'm a fan of simple and clean. So we're gonna get out of here because I get what this is. Let's see what this is. Dan started apps for the 21st century. View. Oh, okay. So that's notifications. Got it. So if we view all notifications, that I'm assuming is where they would go. That's kind of cool. Not quite sure why the social feed is following me. I get it that it's social learning, and I'm supposed to be interacting with other people. I'm getting that point. I still think this is kind of small. These icons are small. I understand why. For me, the font's small. I'm on a pretty large screen, so it's kind of hard to read. This looks like some kind of a standard social feed, though, that was put in here. Not to insult what you did, but that's what it looks like. I think that could be larger, somehow make it more fun. I don't know if it's the treatment of these. I don't know if it's the font. I don't know if it's the look of it itself. I'd have to kind of just look at a general design that I'd be doing. I'm assuming this is some sort of list of notifications. Fairly typical. So let's see what this is. Okay, so that's my messages. I wouldn't have gotten messages from that. I would have gotten more because of the bubbles. I would have gotten that that's some sort of a chat feature. Definitely didn't get that would be messages. So let's see. Here, let's see what this is. Okay, so these are my projects. Well, let's see. Oh, I get it. So this is probably going to take me back to that main area. Okay. It didn't. So it took me somewhere else. So let's see. I'm going to go back here. I'm going to try view all projects. I just want to see what that's about. Okay, so I get it. So that's the main screen, or your default screen for your dashboard, I'm assuming. Gives me my projects, obviously my username, badges, points, hours, days left. Don't really know what all that's about. I apologize. I get it that badges are something that I probably earned by doing lessons or completing things. Points, again, is probably something I earn. Hours, I have, it looks like I've got 0 out of 18, so I must purchase, or the learning modules must total 18 or something. Days left, you must be able to set certain limits in terms of days of completion. So let's see, my experiences, apps for the 21st century, data dig, learning without limits. So I like all that. I mean, this is all okay. I think it's kind of small. You know, could it be friendlier? Yes. I like how this is kind of grayed out. And, you know, again, it's small. You know, in terms of it being fun, no. Is it clean? Yes. I'm a fan of simple and clean. These are really small, hard to read, at least for me, and by my experience, gray on gray can sometimes be problematic when I've done user testing. Consistency of buttons, these are the same. Yeah, I'm a fan of bigger larger buttons, larger text. You know, these images are cool. I guess there's some sort of a visual association when I get further in. If there is, cool. I just think this whole entire area up here could be improved by either simply moving this over to here. I'd love, again, to see that down here. Better iconography, you know, better description, at least the first time someone's logging in. I think you guys would benefit from some kind of a, you know, one of those grayed out, you know, things over the top with maybe like the sketched out arrows saying, you know, hey, you can do this here, this is what a badge is, or one of those ones I've seen where they kind of do these program pointers and they say, you know, hey, look here, this is what badges does, or hey, this is what this does. Kind of walks you around as you go the first time, so it lets you interact with it, but it also tells you what's going on, because again, I'm obviously a little lost. So let's see, where did I want to go? Actually, I wanted to go back here. So view all projects. Okay. Okay, I get it. All right, so that's that screen, and if I want to go to a specific learning module that it looks like I had already had open, then it'll go to that. Let's see if I'm right. Okay, so I am. This is, again, it's confusing. I understand what this is in the background, some sort of an image of a child. Not really a fan. I like how these modules look. Those are cool. You know, Y apps of the 21st century. Okay, I get it. So the social scene. You know, the icons are cool. Cool enough. You know, maybe larger, more friendly. I'm not necessarily sure that I would go with, you know, squares, maybe circles. You know, I'm not sure. Still not really a fan of having this follow me everywhere I go, other than I understand why it's there. It's actually, for whatever reason, I don't know, I'm finding it just annoying. Um, let's see, so my projects again. So this is a little much where it starts to take you back constantly. If there was a way to stay on the screen and interact, I'd be a fan of that, because this flipping from screen to screen is a little too much. So let's see, syllabus, let's see what happens there. Okay, so apps of the 21st century. You know, this is better because it's larger. Still not a huge fan of how it's cut off. I go with a different image. Again, I am a fan of simple and clean, and this is clean and simple. Simple, I don't know, because I'm kind of lost a little bit of getting around. These are kind of small. You know, again, I would like to somehow infuse some of the flavor from the website. I don't get the same feeling, even in the image treatment. Like if you look at this and the font treatment, you know, this is nice and large, big imagery. I understand that it's more difficult to do that when you're inside, you know, and you're actually using the product. But, you know, this looks like it has that satin Photoshop filter over it, and it's set to a high percentage, which I understand because you're going to put text over it. I don't know. I just don't get the same feeling as I do from here to here. I'm almost actually wanting to see this dark top, possibly. I might like that better. than this. You know, again, it's confusing to get around because I'm not sure. Like, I'm in here and I get it now that this is called EdQuest, and then you have these different little modules that you can go into. But this says Experience Now, so I'm confused because when I was in the other screen, it looked like I could play it from there. And if you ask me how I could get back to some of those things, I'm still confused about that. And I'm a UI guy. So let's see. So about apps for the 21st century. Learning objectives, okay, I get it. So that's a syllabus. Okay, so these are the little exercises with playlists. Standards aligned with, I'm not sure what any of this really is. I get it. Okay, that's version, grade level. You get that. Goes along with, okay, so, you know, your questions as friendly and fun. I don't get a friendly and fun feeling from this. It feels more corporate than anything else, along with my other comments that I've made. So it looks like you can start to interact from here as well as that other screen, which I think just overall is very confusing. Oh, I see, and I can get, if I complete this, I get 390 points. Estimated time is right here, and this is the instructor. I think these are really small, especially this. I would imagine, even though it's remote learning, that people would want to interact with the instructor a little bit, so they'd probably like to see a picture, larger picture, maybe a little bit more about the person. Let's see what happens here. So there's 9 exercises. Okay, so a total 30, and they're broken up into 10-minute. Looks like 10-minute increments, and they're 10 points each. Okay, so I can't click. I get it. Okay, so this is just showing me what's ahead of me, but I can't just get to it from here. That's something that I would definitely find frustrating as a user. You know, that I can't just simply click on it and get to here. It'd be nice maybe if this moved over to here and was here. You know, if I clicked here, this moves over, and I can begin to, you know, start learning, and I can kind of have my syllabus there as I go. You may do something like that when we get back to the other screen. I'm not sure. So let's see. Oh, I get it. All right, so we'll hit Experience Now. Let's see where that takes me. Okay, I get it. I'm sorry. So that takes me back to this screen, that big blue Experience Now button. But again, that was a rectangular button, that one that we were just on, and you've kind of got the rounded corner buttons going. You know, this is so, you know, nice and open in here. I even like the treatment of these. Yes, you know, this is fun. You know, this stuff, you know, some of this could be incorporated. You know, I would like to see this larger. I love the color treatment here. Maybe not necessarily the color itself, but I like, you know, better than what I had seen on the inside. You know, these I still feel could be larger. You know, this stuff, I love all this. So the font's nice and large. Anyway, okay, so we'll go back here. So these are those, okay, I get it. So syllabus, toolbox, let's see what toolbox is. Toolbox, discover today's most popular apps for education. Okay, so this is just kind of giving me other suggestions. I don't know how relevant that would be for me. Maybe it is for other people. Here again, hard time getting back to where I was, and I want to hit the back button. So we'll do that. That goes back, which is nice. But I still was a little bit lost as a user, as you can tell. This is always fun when you do this when you're not familiar with something, and you get to go in and kind of you know, evaluate something that somebody's done. And I mean no insult, because I know how difficult this is, and it's, you know, trial and error, and things start out one way and they grow. So please don't be offended by my comments. You know, this graphically, I don't think this is fun. I think this could be a lot nicer in this entire area here. So we're going to click, try this first one. Sorry, there's a lawnmower, of course, going by. Okay, so here you start to do some of the stuff that I was talking about. Get some guidance. Your instructor is always by your side with one click. Love it. Larger photo. You know, the icons are starting to have that like color treatment that I really like. Figures that there'd be a lawnmower going by right now as I'm doing this, so again, I apologize. So this has that learning, I get it, so that's nice. Let's play the, let's hit continue. Okay, yeah. So now you're doing what I was talking about um, earlier. This is great. So feed your learning. Okay, watch videos and digest hot topics of information. Um, apply your knowledge. Yeah, I mean, all of this stuff is really great. This, I would somehow want to have this earlier on. Even this treatment looks nicer than the other one that I've seen. This bar over here, for whatever reason, this is larger, more better use of white space, things of that nature. Okay, so dive deeper, explore vetted resources. Okay, I like that.
Welcome to Apps for the 21st Century. As your guide for this course, I'll be with you throughout the entire experience. In this course, we'll look at...
Okay, so that was all great. This feels... we'll see what happens when I get out of here, but this is just so much information on the screen for a user. I don't know where to go first. And I think the meat of what this is gets lost. So I'm not even sure. Let's see. Okay, so I can do this. All right, so let's see. Let's just start from top to bottom here. Why apps for the 21st century learners? Okay, so I can go through here. I get that. That's cool. And I can hit play. I'm imagining this is going to be some type of a pop-up. Or nope. Okay, so it's embedded. This whole thing. This is confusing. Right here, you're probably saying, why is it confusing? I get it that, required and it's 10 points. It's just a lot. You have this going on, you got these square here, square here. My eye kind of is going here. My eye's kind of wondering what these things are, the squares in terms of the icons. And then it goes, to the video, then it kind of goes to here, then I'm wondering what these are, and I'm wondering what she's doing. So, this I already went through. Correct answer 06, so let's see. Okay, so it's asking me, I get it. Okay, so which of the following types of activities would you expect to find in a truly 21st century select? Alright. Okay, so that was good. Alright. This could be, I think, a lot more fun. You maybe say something like, congrats, and some kind of a graphic treatment or something. I don't know. Could be more exciting. When it comes to selecting apps and technology for use in your classroom, how comfortable are you? Let's see, I'll just choose anxious. I like that. I don't know, you could have more fun with this. I like the photos, but you could have them do something maybe. Rate your current level in actual, okay, so we're gonna just move that. Hit submit. Please select all correct answers. Okay. Whoop. Okay, so I got those right. So let's see if I can hit submit. Good work. Okay. Alright, so that's kind of cool. You're doing some of the things that I had talked about, so I guess I'm not totally off. This popped up, says good work. This is, again, there's this balance of, clean and simple versus fun. So this is kind of clean, simple. It's not fun enough for me. I don't know if this is, I think this is fine. I get that follows along with the branding that you've got going on, but this could be down here above this body copy and say good work, and it could be bold. I don't know, and that could be enough. Just a friendlier feeling, but I get it that the white space, because I'm a fan. So let's see. Okay, how has your teaching challenge? Okay, so you're going through these modules. Let's see if I can get. So this is a little bit, because this is laying over what's behind it. I don't know. I just find this hard to use for people. I'm okay with it because of what I do for a living, but I think people would generally find that potentially hard to use, from my experience at least. So we're going to X out of that. There are still one or more activities you need to submit to complete this title. Are you sure you want to close the title? Yes. As a warning, I get it that this is following the other alert. This one looks a little bit different where it's rounded corner, the other one was squared. You know, the button treatments, again, just consistency is one thing I'd like to see. This, I'm sort of getting a feeling that there's a mixture of things. You know, it kind of wants to be consistent, but it's not. Yes. Okay, so now I'm back to this main screen. So then the toolbox, syllabus we did, toolbox we did, discussions. I have a feeling I know where that goes. Okay, I get it now. So this goes all the way back to where we started. Okay. So I think those would be my general comments. Let's see, your overall creative direction is the overall experience fun and engaging. What would you do differently? You know, again, as I've said, I wouldn't associate fun. Engaging, I think it could be, has elements that are. The fun factor definitely would amp that up. UI, UX, and navigation, is the experience easily navigable? How can it be improved? You know, that I think my comments kind of speak for themselves. I had a hard time, so I think there could be a lot of work done, and I'd have to do, you know, for me, I'd have to do some wireframing out, a pretty extensive amount, I would imagine, of wireframing, see how things flow, play with it. You know, because coming into this blind, I didn't have an easy time. Color pattern and visual vocabulary doesn't set the right tone for interactive learning. You know, I kind of mentioned that in my comments. This is very white space, you know, more corporate looking. I'm a fan of white space, as I've said. I think it could be better in terms of, you know, larger buttons, different color choices, consistency, tone. You know, that's again, you know, you could do all these little, you know, fun and things like that. You could do little fun treatments, but then sometimes that can be too much. So I'm not sure what the answer is there, other than, you know, I would make things larger, play with the white space, maybe try and add a limited amount of fun elements in there, have things come in from over here, up here, over here, but that can get annoying, so it'd be a matter of playing with it. Just making sure everything's consistent, because I saw a lot of things, you know, which I think I pointed out, that were inconsistent or unclear. Social collaborative learning after interacting with the Connect and community areas, do you have any ideas for improvement? You know, I think I gave those during the review. You know, the social part, you know, I see where you're interacting with other people. You know, maybe you have some things down here where it would come up if I'm inside of somewhere and someone wants to interact with me, and it kind of says, you know, hey, Melissa, you know, said X or wants to know this. Things like that. This is sort of a passive thing where you have to click on it. I'd love to see, you know, more things interacting with me in a subtle way, so it's not disturbing me as I'm going through things. Anyway, that would be my review and answer to your questions. Hopefully that was good. I'll answer the rest of what you had to say in your email. I'll answer that in my email back to you. So thank you very much.